So, Steve, the rest is tech. Where are we today?
We're at Essendon Country Club, a club I've known for a number of years. It's where I play golf, but it's got tremendously hospitable. And I just want to say thank you to Paul Densham and the team for allowing us to use the facilities and setting them up for us.
Okay, so today, one thing we'd like to talk about is why a fractional CIO, CTO. What are the benefits that the rest is tech bring as opposed to other options available to our clients?
Okay, I think consultant is an overused word within the tech business. It's probably an overused word in business in general. So I think there's two parts to that question, Simon. First thing is why you should use a fractional, and then why you should use the rest is tech for that service. First of all, what are the advantages of using a fractional CIO, CTO within a business? Well, for me, the big advantage is you can turn them on and off.
Yes.
Absolutely. That, HR policies are at our level. This is an exec level role, are stringent. There are big packages involved. And often the challenges a business faces in its digital backbone or its digital strategy are for a fixed period of time.
Yes.
So it's almost like you can hire someone for a fixed period of time to do something. Actually, and I think we might have both seen this over the years, they can be twiddling their thumbs when business gets to a steady state.
Indeed. And I think if you hire someone 5 days a week, they will find things to do 5 days a week.
Yes.
And maybe you're paying for stuff that you don't need them to do, or they're upsetting people because they're filling their time trying to justify the reason they're there 5 days a week.
And that's the 80/20 rule.
Yeah.
Your tech in a business, like any other element of a business, will never be perfect. And 80% of the gains are done very quickly.
Yes.
With skilled implementations and new processes and whatever's happening at the time. The last 20% is almost a holy grail. But if you're employing someone, they will feel obliged to do that 20%.
Yeah.
But that's why the Pareto law exists.
Yeah.
That 20% is to some extent a holy grail. It's something that's unobtainable.
Yes.
And also, if you do try and attain it too hard, you might be missing opportunities to change it. Because one of my basic theories is tech's not perfect.
Yes.
And I used to, when I was younger in my tech career, I used to lament the fact that I was never going to be expert at it. And by that I mean is by the time you get to 100%, something new is coming down the pipe.
Indeed.
And we have to learn it. We have a skill set and a mindset that it lets us learn it. Now I see that in a fast-moving world of tech as a distinct advantage.
And yes. And on that basis, it's quicker and easier to recruit a fractional CIO or CTO than it is to hire someone. There's no waiting.
Yeah.
Someone's notice.
But to use that example, if they're the right level person, a mid-sized business probably can't afford them. So let's just be straight.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a 6-figure package. If it's not a 6-figure package, you haven't got someone like us.
No, that's true.
So let's be straight. If you think you've got some, they're not us. Number one. But number two, if you've had the biggest sales year ever and you have that sort of salary available, they'll be on a 6-month notice.
Yes, indeed.
So by the time they join you, and they take a couple of weeks off for a bit of holiday as well. So when they join you, your landscape would have moved dramatically.
Yep,
it would have moved completely dramatic. Whereas a fractional CIO or CTO will be available broadly immediately.
Yes,
to get involved with business immediately
because we have a depth of team.
So we have a number of people. We cover the country, which is a really big USP for us. But I think more than that, we have a community where we select amongst ourselves. I like this. I haven't told you this before. I rather like the fact that the business is very open.
Yeah.
And we select amongst ourselves who will be best for a role.
Yes.
Because of our level, because we've all been doing these roles, we know there isn't any point in us putting ourselves forward for a role we can't do.
In fact, yes. So we don't try and fit a square peg in a round hole.
And I think you've had that before, where you've turned assignments down.
Yes,
Because we've looked at our skill set and said that we just don't have the skill set here.
indeed.
And I don't think there's many companies who operate like that. I think that's a real USP.
Well, that's professional pride.
It is. Yeah.
Our reputation is more important than just winning every job.
Winning every job we come across. And some jobs, and I don't know which of our viewers and our clients will say this, some jobs are poison chalice. We could be the fractional CIO of last resort.
Yes.
So sometimes we have to take a professional view that that's got to a point where we can't bring it back.
Sometimes, although I quite like those.
You like that? You know what? I could see the hesitation there.
I do like that.
I know. I could see the hesitation.
So much prestige in recovering. I think I've done so many program recoveries. It's just so
As I was talking, I could see you like that. I'm a bit more of a trophy hunter. I like to do it my way from the scratch.
Yeah.
However, there is an advantage for us coming in to do a turnaround project.
Yes.
Because we're there because it's a turnaround project.
Yeah.
And it needs turning around. And if we don't turn around, no one's turning it around. So that's good. So I think they're the advantages of a fractional executive, like us coming in. What's the difference between us and an individual consultant would be my first.
I was going to say, yeah, that's the next point.
Yeah, an individual consultant is the thing we've just mentioned, is our depth of resource around us. So
we have a team that are selected because they're willing to share their knowledge.
Yes.
And they're all very willing to offer opinion and help.
Yes.
So we're a team of 27 at the moment. So although the client sees one face,
Yes,
there's 27 minds behind them.
Yes.
Everything.
They cover everything. And I think it's important to say that you, as a founder of the business, have been very strict on that as well. There are some people we realise weren't sharers and not with us.
Indeed.
They were with us for a while, and they're not. And you see it in our own personal groups, our own social groups. Is someone asks for help and they get in-depth help.
Yes.
We have people who've been on calls with someone from Rest Is Tech, and they're not getting paid for that. They're just going to call to help.
Yes.
Just do a bit of guidance. Someone hit a little roadblock and just need another opinion. So it is strange because we come from a tech background. It's a very communicative and social group we're in.
Yeah, that's why not everyone gets through the gate.
Goes through the gate.
Stays in.
But that isn't that because we were following on from something we said in another podcast. That's because we're business focused as well.
Indeed.
We realise that skill set is as important as the tech skill set.
If I would argue, maybe even more
important.
More important.
And we bring that to every engagement. So going back to the challenge a business has, if it has, it needs some skills and it needs something done quickly and it needs to bring someone in. Where do they look? Typically, it's something on LinkedIn. It's a friend of a friend. But how do you know they can do the job? How do you know they won't go on holiday for 3 weeks? I've had that.
Yeah.
I've seen that in a client where someone's taken the role and just gone away. There's an inbuilt, we could use a tech example. There's an inbuilt disaster recovery of us because we all know broadly what projects are going on.
Yes.
We don't know them in depth because when someone leads a project leader, but we are aware of the project. And generally, because of our depth, because we cover the country, because there's 27 people, there's at least 2 people who've got the skill sets.
Yeah.
So we, under our guidance, if something did happen or someone had a family emergency, these things happen.
Yeah.
We could replace that person.
Indeed.
That's the beauty of dealing with the Rest Is Tech.
Yes.
Rather than an individual consultant.
Yes. And the fact that they have the social skills to fit in as well.
Yes. Because they've chosen to be part of the group.
Yes.
Before we met any clients, we chose to be part of this group.
I think the tech ability is almost a given because the group is so large and everything is covered, and it's about finding the right person with the right social skills that fit each particular client. Because every client is different.
Yes.
They behave in a different way. But we have people that will fit into that group as if they're an old pair of slippers, as it were. They've been there forever.
Well, I like to call that's a chemistry check.
It is.
Yeah, and we're pretty good, I think. And I think you found that already, and we've found that already. The assignments, then we're taking a lot of assignments on. The assignments we're taking, generally the first person to present to the customer is the one doing the assignment.
Yes.
Because we worked out amongst ourselves, because our process is a lead, a potential client will come through the business, and we will look at that. And by definition, someone will give us a paragraph on who it is and what it is and what they need. By definition, we will do our own research on that company. And I can't think of many opportunities that we're dealing with now where 10 people said, that's for me. It's normally 1 or 2, because we all make our own and go, actually, Simon would be good at that.
Yeah.
Dave would be good at that. And I could give it a shot, because we're all experts. I could give it a shot, but actually that's their skill set.
Yes.
So there's a filter. I wouldn't know how we put this on the website or anything, but there's a filter there already where we self-select.
We do. I mean, there's a lot that goes on that, obviously, in any company, there's a lot that goes on the client doesn't see.
Yeah.
But our internal communication and sharing. And very rarely, as you rightly say, very rarely is the first person that's put in front of the client not the person that they then take on.
Yes.
But occasionally it happens. And the beauty is there are other people in the business that
and that could be 2 reasons. Sometimes, as much as, we can get a brief, it's like a brief, the scope of works for anything, frankly, that can never give you as much information as a one-to-one meeting.
Indeed.
And sometimes a one-to-one meeting will give information that actually someone reassesses where they want to be. It could be location.
Yes.
It could be hours. It could be days that people have to work. You get more information in the meeting, so then we have to reassess.
Yes.
But that's the point of that chemistry meeting. So I'd say to any potential client, if you have a requirement, is really to talk to us as early as you can.
Yes.
So that we can think about as a group who could do that role.
Yeah.
And get talking to them. There's no obligation.
Well, and so they can discover what they don't know.
What they don't know, because yes, they will get. I'm arrogant enough to think we add value just in that conversation.
Always.
Because we will ask questions that the client hasn't thought of.
I don't think I've had one client meeting where we haven't asked a question when they've gone, and scribbled something down or thought, I need to look into it.
We shouldn't let them take notebooks in.
Well, no.
I think that's a value add. Yeah. I'm always, one of my business principles is to build the pie to make it bigger.
Yes.
So there are people who go like that, and there are people who go like that. And I think the rest of tech goes like that. We have a phenomenal amount of knowledge and experience, and we share it.
Yeah.
And we share it, and we will keep sharing it, and people will benefit from that. And then alongside that, we will be earning revenue from doing assignments alongside that. But in any meeting with someone from the rest is tech, you'll get value.
Yeah. And I think that brings us back to our purpose. Our purpose is to help medium-sized businesses in the UK benefit from strategic application of technology.
Yes.
Now, that's what I talked about previously. We come from big business, so we have all that big business experience, but we enjoy working with medium-sized.
Oh, my favourite. They're
less politics, there's more get it done. Yeah. It's just a joy, a breath of fresh air to sort of help those companies. And many of them just don't know what they don't know.
No.
And we open their eyes and their ambition to what they can achieve for very little money often as well.
Yes.
Sometimes they have opinions that tech is going to cost them an arm and a leg, but it doesn't have to.
No.
Of course it can do if they want it to, but it doesn't have to, because there are many things out there. If you just go for the big brands, yes, it will cost you lots of money, but there are equally good, not so well-known products that do just as good job and don't cost.
Well, that's because we're very good at looking at the function of those products.
Yes.
So we're not swayed by a free mouse man.
No.
Free
coaster maybe.
Coaster. A nice pen arm, a partial. Now I do like I like a nice moleskin.
Yeah.
A5 They come back after COVID. I quite like those.
Yeah.
I quite like those. But my favourite
Sorry, just to put on that point. So one of our key benefits over any consultant, whatever, is we're independent.
we are. Yeah.
We have no allegiance to any manufacturer or supplier. The advice we give is the best advice we believe for the client, not what commercial agreement we have with Microsoft or Google or whatever.
Yeah, we're totally independent.
Yeah.
And I think that's best demonstrated if we're in a position where we run an RFP process for a client,
Yes.
because we're upfront about that in our terms and conditions, but also a client then can see how independent we actually are, because they make the decision.
Yes.
We don't recommend anything. We put people in front of the clients because we know that they can do the job, whatever service they require. But we don't make a decision because we're not recommending one company. There's no other transaction other than us engaged in the day.
Yeah, people might think we're recommending, but often we're just highlighting the positives and the negatives of certain solutions so that when the client makes the decision, they're making it with all the knowledge available to them.
Yes, I agree. And also,
That can be perceived as recommending, but it's not. We're just highlighting.
we're highlighting, and in some areas, especially line of business applications, there might only be two people to go to.
Yes.
Very much so. In spite of, some people would have us believe there's an app for everything. But if you go down routes of some established industries, I'm thinking of warehousing, with some systems in there, or if it's the automotive, there's only 2 or 3 actually line of business applications that work in those places, and we look at them all.
Yep.
But we will be doing that against the scope of works and a function document designed by the business.
And so following on from that, I actually think we save clients money because we know what the market rate is.
Yes.
Any company will try and sell you their product for the most money they think you can afford.
That's the job.
Yes.
That's the job.
And our job is to say, well, hang on, you want to charge 50 grand here, but just down the road, you did it for 20 grand.
Yes.
Why?
Because someone in our group procured it 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
You hit one of my favourite subjects there. My background is I used to run an MSP, a managed service provider, where I outsourced and provide tech services to mid-sized businesses. So just going back to Simon's point, my favourite way of engaging with a client is at exec level with the owners or the CEO and just talking at that level and getting things done.
Yes.
Getting things done. So one of my favourite engagements is when I look at the service contracts going into those businesses, because by definition, I've been in lots of tenders around those service contracts.
Yes.
And because some of them haven't been looked at a while, some of them quite eye-watering, the prices people are paying.
And probably duplicate.
And duplication.
Duplication.
Yeah.
So they've got many systems, maybe not all talking to each other.
Oh,
and you think, well, you're not using all the function of that system and the function. You could replace both those systems with one system, or that system can get rid of that by just taking more of the functions that it already has.
Yes. And that's because systems evolve anyway.
Yes.
So what wasn't available in one system 2 years ago is available now. Secondly, and it is a perennial challenge, is nodes, as I call it.
Yes.
It's either, if you're paying for any form of support, what licenses have you got? Telecoms are particularly rank with this. There's not a mid-sized business I haven't worked with without overpaying on their telecoms, because the telecom companies rely on the inertia.
Well, it's almost an analogy I would have is your car insurance or your home insurance.
Yes.
Every year, when it comes up for renewal, you should look at.
I should always look at it.
Look at whether it's cheap, because many insurance companies will actually charge more, which seems wrong. To keep clients, you pay more than if you're a new customer.
Yes.
And that's the same with IT, technology and things. Always take the opportunity. You might not change, but always take the opportunity of having a look.
At the very worst, you'll get them to sharpen their pencil.
Yes.